this time, we'll call to order the City Council meeting of Lakeland Shores on November 4th, 2021. Kim, would you take roll call, please?
Councilmember Schroeder. Here. Councilmember Wilson.
Here.
Councilmember Hatton.
Here.
Acting Mayor Bishop.
Here. Would you join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. First item of business is that we adopt the agenda. I move that we adopt the agenda. Is there a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Agenda approved. At this time, we have a consent agenda, which has two items. One is approved monthly claims, and the second is to approve the September 2nd, 2021 City Council meeting minutes. Is there any discussion? Would somebody like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion, we approve the consent agenda.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next, we have the public comments. There is somebody here from the public that I don't recognize, so would you step up to the podium there?
Can I hand you guys a piece of paper?
Sure.
Okay.
Thanks.
There you go.
Thanks.
Hi. There you go.
Thank you.
Here.
Please step up to the podium, identify yourself and where you live.
Sure. So my name is Carrie Coolhang. I live in Afton, actually, off of Pheasant Court and 50th. I'm here representing the Afton Lakeland PTA on behalf of the Afton Lakeland Elementary School. We have been endeavoring upon raising money to redo our playgrounds for the past 3 years. We are at about 89% to our goal. To date, we've been able to redo the playgrounds, a smaller playground on the property that services the preschool and the kindergartners. We are super close to being able to close out the funding that is needed for the larger playground that's behind the school, which services the 1st through 5th graders, so the bulk of the population at Afton Lakeland. In order to engage in the padded flooring that the district is covering for all the elementary schools, we have to revamp some of the pieces that are at our playground. If we were to do it in reverse, it would destroy the flooring that they are installing on our behalf. So we have to upgrade some of the pieces in order to get that installed. That padded flooring has been installed on the smaller playground at our school and then at some other playgrounds within the district. This flooring has been known to reduce playground injuries by about 87%. And unfortunately, Afton Lakeland is no stranger to those types of injuries. We've had many a broken arm, broken wrist, broken fingers. We've even had a broken back in the past couple of years of our students falling off the monkey bars and landing on the wood chips and the hard ground below. So time is of the essence for us to be able to close out this funding, to be able to get this new padding installed. We're hoping to raise about $15,000 between now and the end of the calendar year in order to get on the calendar for the district and for the installation company to install next summer before the beginning of the next school year.
And what are you looking for from individual towns?
So I'm presenting at each of the city council meetings this month to see if there is funding available. I had caught up with Bob Craggs, who's been a great contact to me in this fundraising endeavor over the past few years, and he had inclined that there was some pull tab funding available in some of the local areas that might be able to support this playground.
I mean, the levy doesn't cover this?
Does not, no.
Fortunately, we don't have any pull tab money.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we used to when
We used
Shriners
to,
was
yeah.
there,
Okay.
but we don't. I'm not quite sure. I mean, obviously, it's a great project, you know, that you're contemplating and hopefully completing by next summer, but I don't believe at this particular time that we have any money set aside to necessarily enable you to, or assist you in doing so. Do you have any figures as to what other towns have offered, or are you just making the rounds now?
I am making the rounds now. You guys are my first. The next city council meetings are the week of the 16th and 17th. And actually, honestly, if there's not funding available, if you guys have any contacts that I could be connected to, that would be really helpful too, because we're so close. And while 15,000 is a lot of money to a PTA, it's not a lot of money to a lot of, nonprofit organizations in the area. So any sort of support you guys could provide would be super helpful.
Okay, do you have a contact number that you could give Kim?
Yes, I have emailed with her, so she has my
Okay.
email address.
Okay.
I would recommend stopping by the Bayport Legion
Okay.
and talking to them. I know they have quite a pool of pull tab locations that they
Okay.
donate a lot to the community, or for specific reasons like this,
Okay.
And then I would, if they do donate, I would advertise that because they have good, we frequently go there to eat,
Oh, great. Okay.
and, but yeah, they're a good place. I belong with, or I'm involved in the St. Croix Valley Athletic Association. They've donated money to us for certain things. And basically, anytime we ask them, they do donate stuff
Okay.
for funds. But they would be the good resource.
Great. Thank you.
How much did this cost overall?
It's at 137,000. So we spent 48 on the smaller playground, and the balance of that is for the larger one. So we've raised about 122K so far.
Well, if I can think of anything in the near future that, or people that might be willing to donate, I certainly will send them your way.
Perfect.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
With no other public present, we'll close the public meeting, our opportunity for the public to speak. We are now going on to the unfinished and new business, and the first is the consideration of the resolution number 2021-08, adopting preliminary city budget for 2022. Is there any discussion concerning that?
Acting mayor and council members, I'll just note it's the same as what you approved in September.
Okay.
It'll just be finals.
And that was
I'm
in,
sorry,
that,
not preliminary, it's final.
final, excuse me.
Yeah.
And that was in the amount of 175,256, is that correct? No, that's the city budget.
That's on the resolution, yeah, 175,256. Yep.
Well, with no further discussion, at this time, would somebody like to make a motion to approve this or disapprove it?
I'll make a motion that we approve the resolution for the financial budget number 2021-08 for 2022.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I,
Aye.
We need a second.
Oh, I'll second it.
Excuse me. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Moving on, we have consideration of resolution number 2021-09, levy certification for 2022. Is there any discussion concerning this resolution?
Acting mayor, council members, this is the same as the budget. This is your final levy certification that has to be in by December, and it is the same as the preliminary that you approved in September. There have been no changes.
And that amount was 169,946, is that correct? At this time, I would move that we approve resolution number 2021-09, levy certification for the year 2022. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I'm assuming, Kim, we don't have to take a voice vote on this. Okay. Then we have consideration of resolution number 2021-10, polling location. Is there any discussion concerning the polling location? It's my understanding that the polling would take place at Embrace Church, the St. Croix campus, at 16600 7th Street South, Lakeland, Minnesota, 55043. Do we have a motion to approve this?
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution, 2021-10, the designation of the polling place for Lakeland Shores.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Zoom.
Council and staff reports. Kim, do you have anything to add at this particular time?
Acting Mayor and council members, we do have one more item under 4D,
Okay,
the consideration of the condemned building.
I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. You probably just passed through that bright paint that we got going on there in that picture. Kind of blinding. The council has talked about this for quite some time. By the direction of the council, moved forward in the process, the first step. And per the building inspector, that first step is to notice the structure that, the visual that you see, that it is a condemned building. The structure is uninhabitable. That was dated 10/18. And again, you have the visual of that. The next step in the process is as I understand it, the property owner is now aware. The city council should direct the city staff to send a letter to this property owner indicating that they've been properly noticed, and I would suggest you give a time limit on that letter as to when they need to demo this property, or the building, not the property. I might suggest perhaps by the end of the year. You may wanna do it sooner than that. But that will put the property owner on notice that they need to take care of this and do something with it. I know that the city has been very patient in terms of perhaps some insurance claims that maybe were happening, but I believe it's been like 3 years.
3 years, yeah.
At least.
It'll be 3 in the spring.
So I would recommend that you move forward in the next process, and I would like a motion to that effect with the second. And that is just to direct the city to write a letter to the property owner, again, with a specific amount of time to demolish this building.
Can I ask Kim whether, when this notice was posted, the condemning it, was there any conversation at all with the property owner, or has there been any
Not that I'm
conversation?
aware of.
Okay. And it's not like, obviously, it's something that obvious to see, and so if the property owner is around, he would have had plenty of opportunity to see it, is that correct?
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Well, go ahead.
What kind of time frame do you think? I think by the end of the year isn't unreasonable. I'd even try to go sooner, but it's hard to say.
Well,
30 days, 45 days? That's, again,
I-
entirely up to you.
I think the end of the year is just simpler,
Yeah,
Tim,
that's fine.
considering we're already in the 4th of November,
Yeah.
by the time he gets the letter, that type of stuff. So is there any further discussion?
So you're saying that we would give him a letter here soon and then have him demolish it by the end, or remove it by the end of this year?
Yes.
Does that seem kinda quick?
Well, you go to a bigger city and they got it tore out down, granted, they have the resources and they move on it, they have somebody knock it down within hours.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Okay,
I-
all I'm getting as to is, it's the end of the year, Christmas is coming up, this and that,
Yeah.
and like you said, the insurance money, who knows how that's going, but I don't know what it'll cost to demolish the thing. I'm just throwing it out there.
Well, I'm not adverse, since we're discussing this, to get some feedback from the owner. Okay, I mean, I think we should set a deadline, and let's hope we can get a dialogue going in which, he indicates something other than he's in litigation with the insurance company. Because we've heard that before, at least that's what I assume we've heard from him. Certainly, we've heard it from other people that that's the situation. So I think, he said as much as 6 or 7 weeks is not a whole lot of time. He said approximately 3 years to do something about it, and has done absolutely nothing. And I, can't imagine that anything is probably going to be done in the near future unless perhaps the city forces his hand a little bit. So I would move that we direct the staff to contact the owner by letter, and I'm assuming that's certified, is that correct? Certified letter, and that for the removal of the structure at 16599 Second Street North by the end of 2021. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Acting mayor and council members, I will just note on this, you could extend this deadline if you so choose to, based on perhaps some information that you might receive from the property owner. But I would, as you just did, get the process going, because if you have a property owner that's not cooperative in this thing, it has to be turned over to city attorneys, and zoning are the last things that come up in the court system, so it could be a very long process for that, so.
Yeah. And if, and then maybe that'll bring him to contact the city and have some discussion or whatever, let us know what's going on, or if there is
Absolutely,
something.
because I don't think the city council in any way is trying to be unreasonable,
No.
so.
No, I mean, there's been absolutely, as far as I can figure out, no sign of anything going on there. I drive by it daily, multiple times, and I have to admit, I'm looking over my shoulder at it when I go by, but it's just kind of one of those things that just doesn't seem to change any from, in the approximate 3 years since it burned, so I think it's time to act on it. And we don't have a whole lot of things to act on in this city, and when we do have something like this, we try to be somewhat tolerant of people's individual circumstances, but I think in this particular situation, we have been more than tolerant, and something needs to be done, so.
I guess the one thing I will say, kind of as a sidebar in this, is that, we are giving him a hard date. And as Tim said, it's not an easy date to meet, but that's not to say that there might not be some negotiation that happens at some point, and the possibility exists. I'm gonna say it that way.
But I can guarantee if you got somebody in there with whatever those clamshells are, or
Oh,
whatever
yeah.
it is,
I mean,
it'd
yeah.
be down in a half a day.
It's a half-day job.
Right,
I mean, it
yeah.
is, it's a half-day
So,
job.
I realize there may be some difficulty in contacting that
right.
particular people, depending on how busy they are, but, it
Yeah.
seems like,
The biggest thing is waiting for the dumpster, probably.
Yeah.
right. Okay, that pretty much takes care of the unfinished and new business. Staff updates. Kim, is there anything new?
Acting mayor and council members, I have nothing tonight.
And now with the mayor and council reports, Tim Schroeder, is there anything that you'd like to say at this time?
I have nothing.
Councilmember Wilson?
New fire rig comes first part of next year.
New what?
Fire rig, fire engine.
Yep.
There's a number of vehicles that are being rotated out of service. We've got a brush rig that we're selling privately, and a lot of times we sell equipment to another emergency service somewhere. Well, this one's being sold privately to an individual, and it is required by law since 9/11, that all of the emergency equipment and markings be removed from that vehicle if you're going on a private selling, so there's an additional cost in that. They've got an outfit that comes in and pulls the stuff off it. Just a little sidebar, and that's being replaced, but we've put off a lot of purchases for the last 3 years, kind of extended the life on some equipment. And it's worked out just fine, but we're starting to see maintenance costs of those particular rigs go up. And fixing a pump on a fire truck is not cheap. So anyway, the new truck will be in, the new brush rig will be coming in, and then I got lit up about the condemned building, and so we took care of that now. The fire department, the deputy chief,
Yeah.
gave me that, what are you gonna do, hand on the hip look, and, you know, I can't argue with him, cause, you know, this particular chief is also a fire inspector in St. Paul, and so he's got a lot more experience than just this fire department on what needs to be done and timing wise, so. That's all I have.
Councilmember Hatton?
No, nothing.
I did get together with Chair of the WMO, Brian Zeller, as well as Kim and excuse me, Kim, I'm having a senior moment here, but who was it? Matt. And we had a meeting a couple weeks ago in which we discussed some of the projects that are going on or proposed to go on in this, along the river. That's what seems to be where they're going, mostly on Lakeland Shores Road. And so we tried to come to some understanding as to where those projects were, as far as people coming to us, and I think we have a pretty good grasp of it. I won't go into detail, but we did have that meeting, and so hopefully, I'm assuming, Kim, that nobody's been necessarily in contact with you with any detailed plans that we requested over the
Not yet.
past few months? No, okay. Nothing particularly about the roads, you know, they seem to be fine. And Tri-County will be plowing them again this year and hopefully spreading the sand and salt a little bit differently. And, although I'm sure I'll have to call them to remind them. And the only other thing, Councilmember Wilson, I'd like to know if there's statistics on it, just how often do the fire trucks, or does the fire department, the five city fire department, respond to fires, you know, in a usual year?
We generally speaking, we're called an 80-20. We have 80% ambulance and
Right,
20% engine response. I'm gonna put it that way,
Okay.
because sometimes it's a rescue too. I
okay,
mean,
yeah, I understand that
Yeah.
sometimes the fire trucks have to go if there's gas on the roads, or, you
yeah,
know.
and in many cases, there could be, if there's an accident involved and you need extraction equipment, that comes on an engine, that doesn't come on a brush rig or any of that kind of stuff, so. But we're called an 80-20, and it's, we can get you, I don't have the stuff here with me,
Right,
but
yeah.
it's not that hard to, I can give, we did year-end numbers, we've always done year-end numbers, and, we can, but yeah, generally speaking, it's 80-20, and one of the things that is, I don't wanna say it skews it, because that gives a kind of a weird connotation to it. A lot of our mutual aid, is about 50-50, medical to fire. Because there's more need for, another fire rig, a 2-alarm, like in Lake Elmo. I mean, if it's on, the south side of Lake Elmo, we're the unit dispatched for a 2-alarm. But, and even to Hudson, we get dispatched to Hudson.
Okay.
But, so that skews it slightly, but, yeah, if you take 80/20, we do what, Tim, 500?
Yeah, a little over
A
500.
little over 500, 550 a year.
So
So if you look at it, we got
400 more.
100, you know, we basically, we got 10 a month, is a good way to look at it.
Well, if it isn't too much trouble, and I'm just
We
curious
do
about
get a
it.
breakdown monthly, how many
You know,
calls each.
I was actually
house.
thinking it, since we're coming up to the end of the year, if that's when the figures are
But
compiled.
the figures will be compiled for the January meeting,
Okay.
for the annual totals, because they're not subject to any cutoffs or anything else other than December 31st. So the run totals are always done for the January meeting for, yeah. But there's a number of ways they slice it. They slice it by time of day, they slice it by city, they slice it by mutual aid, they slice it by medical and fire, so it's a number of different ways. But we can give you numbers that you may not even wanna know about.
Yeah, no, I'm sure most of it I wouldn't wanna know,
We're
but
one
I'm
of the
just,
low ones, which is good.
Yeah,
I'm just always just interested in, I mean, the costs of,
Per call.
are, you know, significant in our budget, and I
Yeah.
Well,
just-
yeah, and-
it's not like you can do without it, I understand
No,
that.
yeah.
But I also would like to know, you know, just a little bit more about what the actual
we
costs.
had to go around with one of the cities, one of the last years I was the chair of the board.
Mhm.
And it was a very interesting one because he thought that based on the formula, they were not getting what they paid for. Kind of, it's a, you know,
Right.
and it was really simple to argue it because all 5 cities pay a given amount based on this algorithm. And the thing that nobody thinks about is that we do 30 runs a month, and if you're paying 20%, you know, you should, you know, I mean, that math is pretty straightforward on how many runs you should take. But the thing that you have to throw out is you have to throw out mutual aid and 94, because they aren't cities.
Yeah.
But we still have to do those.
And when they started compiling it, it averaged out to about almost,
Matter of fact, they were paying less than their actual number,
Yeah.
percentage-wise of runs, so I said,
Yeah.
you've got a group discount, you
Yeah.
know, but, no, I was, you know, my time with doing the budgets and getting involved in the fire runs and trying to figure that all out, it's amazingly close as far as, run counts as opposed to budget finance load, they're very, very close.
Sounds good to me. Anyway, if
I will
sometime in
get that stuff
January.
for you.
Yeah, I'd like
Yeah.
to see it. Well, everybody has had an opportunity to say what they want. At this time, I'd move to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
I
Aye.
I,
At 6:58?